Hey, listeners, watchers, viewers, fellow football fans, it's me. It's Henry Marken, baby. We're back on No Filter Network. A show. Well, no, it's sort of like a one-off, but a show format, if you will. I've had a lot of clips go viral as of late on Instagram, on TikTok, talking about my 49ers, talking about football. And I realized I had a lot to say. I got more to say about my guys, about my man Brock Purdy. I got a lot to say. Big week, NFL championship week. Let's just cram it into one show, right? It just makes the most sense. I don't want to have to do 17 different takes. Let's just you know what? All you can eat. Golden Corral meets championship week. All you can eat buffet of takes that are probably going to be correct, but definitely be entertaining for sure. I used to have a show called Dr. PPR. I say used to, past tense, because fantasy football is done in the postseason. This was a good fantasy football show back in the regular season. I came in second place in a couple of different leagues. I know second place doesn't mean shit, but it's worth noting, right? It's probably more than the buyback prize. So, anyways, okay, just there's a lot to cover. I'll be brief, but I do want to get through a couple of things they're just bugging the shit out of me. Just really on my mind, and we gotta talk about them. And it's the Buffalo Bills and the Dallas Cowboys. They are the same fucking team. The same team. I'll say it again. The Bills and the Cowboys, they're the same. They're the same team. Unless I'm mistaken, neither one of those teams have made it out of the division. Well, no, the divisional round of the playoffs in the last 3 years. The Bills have, okay, fine. The Bills have one AFC championship appearance in 4 years. Hooray. But other than that, they're the same team on paper. As far as the postseason results go, and as far as the trends in the regular season goes, right? I mean, they both have sick quarterbacks in the regular season who are fantasy football gods, who absolutely shit all over themselves in the postseason. And I'll say their shits are not exactly comparable to an exact science. It's not the same shit. Like Dak shits are a little more explosive. Like he'll explode diarrhea all over himself. You know, he'll get blown out, or he'll lose hilariously, comically, and it's a great camera pan shot to Jerry Jones in his booth, throwing something of scatterable collateral on the table, something that just sprays like every time. It's perfect. Josh Allen shits are more like sharts, right? They could pass for a fart, but you're probably going to need to change your underwear. Something's got to change. You can't just go to work, right? And if you did, you're crazy. Well, that's how I feel about the Cowboys and the Bills. If they don't change something next year, they're fucking crazy. I mean, that is the definition of insanity. They do the same shit every year and expect a different result. The Cowboys and the Bills are the same team because they both do nothing in the offseason. They sign somebody on defense. They bring on some new coordinator, and that's that. And then they expect to go beat Mahomes or to beat Purdy. There's a big brother and little brother going on in both conferences. They're the same team. The only difference is we feel sorry for the Bills. We shit on the Cowboys. There's not a lick of sympathy that goes to the Cowboys from any fans. That's the difference. But they're the same team. How do you solve the Bills and the Cowboys? No, as far as I'm concerned, I love playing the Cowboys in the playoffs. You can expect two things to happen. An amazingly off spread. Just whatever the spread is, take the opposition, hammer it, alt spread every time. Just forget it. Right? Cowboys minus is take money line. Packers money line. Locked by the second quarter. The Bills are kind of the same. You know, when they're playing the Chiefs, I think we're 1 year away from saying, I think it's an auto lock for the Chiefs no matter what. Josh Allen has 3 years on his contract. 3. He signed some super big extension at the end of 2021. It was like a 6-year, $258 million deal. He's got 3 years left. Dak is at the end of his contract. They're the same team in the sense you can't get rid of either one of them this year. You're not getting rid of Josh Allen. And if you're the Cowboys, you're not getting rid of Dak Prescott. What are you going to do? You're going to bring on Nick Mullins? America's team is going to be led by Nick Mullins. 4-pick Nick. Holy shit. No thanks. You're not going to take a chance on any scrub like that. And not that he's a scrub, but he could fucking bounce my head off the turf. But he's much better than me. I'm just saying, Dak is up here as far as quarterbacks go. You can't just fish somebody out of the free agency and be like, oh, that's the problem. It was Dak. The problem's not Dak. The problem that I can at least see is the Cowboys and the Bills both chase the wrong things. They focus on regular season explosion stats instead of getting good and prepare at the right time. Josh Allen has a little bit more credibility to his name because he does get hot as the season goes on. They usually win the conference and then they kill somebody in the playoffs and then they go play the Chiefs or the Bills or the Bengals and they lose. And sometimes it's not his fault. Sometimes it's a coin's fault. Sometimes it's the kicker's fault. This year was Josh Allen's fault. I'll show you some stats later on. But everyone is so ready to defend Josh Allen because of that. I'm ready to defend Dak Prescott because of that too. I think Dak Prescott is not the problem. I can't sit here and tell you what I think the Bills or the Cowboys should do because I'm not a doctor in that sense. I could tell you who to start in fantasy, but I can't fix either one of those teams right now. There's way too many problems. Psychologically, ideology, as far as at the top, it starts at the top. Both teams have pretty miserable owners, and they're constantly worried about the wrong things. So you're fucked perpetually. Now, what I am interested to see is what Mike McCarthy does this year. So the Cowboys are bringing him back. And honestly, this is probably the right call. What are you really gonna go fire him and pay him another year? And then with the money that you're gonna have to figure out how to pay Dak, and then you gotta figure out how to pay you have to pay Parsons, you gotta pay all these guys, then you gotta go find the next guy to coach the Cowboys, right? You can't. So then that coach then has to inherit Dak and all these guys, and maybe Dak isn't the guy for that coach. So you're just creating more problems. Let this era take one more year. One more year, because I want to see what Mike McCarthy looks like on a do or die deal, right? He's not going to get fired this year, and he has also taken the Cowboys to a 12-5 season for the past 3 years. Think about that. That is crazy. To go 12-5 3 years in a row, claiming the division twice in those 3 years, and they're pissed because they can't make it past the division, and the stakes are so high now, you effectively have to win the Super Bowl or you're fired. That's fucking insane. It's Super Bowl or bust or you're gone. You know what? I'll even say it's NFC Championship appearance. Maybe can get him another year. But the reality is, get us to the fucking Super Bowl and you keep your job. Holy shit. I mean, the stress of losing each week, it's going to be so fucking visible. I mean, week 5 loss against the Vikings or something. He's down by 20, fourth quarter, camera pans to him. He's just going, oh, fuck me. I got to give my 2 weeks at the country club. Or week 7, they're losing again, and the season's slipping. It's, oh my God. Fuck me. I really like my heated toilet seats. Right? There's so many of these things that he's going to have to give up because his life is about to change dramatically, because he's going to get fired, because he's not going to the fucking Super Bowl. The stress of going to the Super Bowl is weighing on every single coach in the NFL. But no one is like, okay, I'm not going to the Super Bowl. I'm fired now. That's crazy. The only other coach that probably has that expectation, and it's not even that urgent right now, it's just a general, hey, this is the goal, Super Bowl or bust, is Kyle Shanahan. But notice how I said there's no urgency right now. It's not like gun to your head, win it or die. So that's I'm so excited to see McCarthy just sweating like a pig next year. Oh fuck. I'm supposed to play 18 holes in February. God damn it! He's got to give us 2 weeks. Here's my other take on the Bills before we move off. This is the last thing I want to say, and then I'm done talking about the Bills because honestly, I have bigger fish to fry, my guys. I think the Bills losing this year is really good for America. I do. So I don't know if you knew about this, but this was a big deal about, we'll call it 7 weeks ago. So it was revealed that Sean McDermott, years ago, once used 9/11. That's right, September 11th, the attacks of terror on our country, as a rallying cry for teamwork, strategy, and objective completion. Yeah, I know. The Bills were undefeated this year ever since that was leaked. This didn't happen this year. This happened a couple years back, but that story was leaked this year. And all of a sudden, the Bills just put it together. I mean, can you imagine if the Bills would have won the Super Bowl and that's your locker room hype story? Like, you always hear about coaches doing crazy shit to turn your season around. You got Rex Ryan made his guys bury, what was it, a football? They buried a football, and during practice, they went and dug a hole and buried a football. Like, that kind of shit. Pat Riley of the Miami Heat, well, formerly Lakers Heat, he, like, drowned himself in cold water for, like, 3 minutes before he surfaced, took a deep breath, and said, you have to want to win as much as you need to breathe. And everyone's like, holy shit, this guy's the fucking, wow, he's a prophet. Yeah, and they fucking won. Trust me when I say that it's much better for America that a Super Bowl winning team doesn't use 9/11 as its locker room rallying cry. So, however you feel about the Bills, I just think it's better for America that they lost this year. Just, that's my hunch. That's my hunch. I don't think you need a 9/11 spinoff in football. I think we're good. Yeah, I'm glad that the Bills are out. Speaking of out, the Packers are out, and the Niners are in because the Niners beat the Packers. I'll say that again. The Packers are out, and the 49ers are still in the playoffs because the Niners beat the Packers. Yet every time I turn on the TV, guys are praising Jordan Love, God's gift, we should call him, as if the Packers won and not the other way around. I mean, I'm confused. Did these analysts, did they watch the same game? Did we all watch the same game on Saturday night? It was on, I believe it was on Fox, right? I can't remember what channel it was on. But the problem is, I don't think we watched the same game because everybody is raving about Jordan Love in light that he won the game, when in fact it was Brock Purdy's 49ers that won because Brock Purdy led a game-winning drive, the only quarterback to do that in these playoffs, and now he's moving on. Guys. Holy shit. The Brock Purdy slander has to stop today. I've had it. Okay? My bar is here. Listeners, you can't see how hard my bar is. My bar is so high. But for the visual audience, the sighted world, you can see this is a high bar. I've had it. We're elevating that because the slander is just stupid. How bad are your ratings that you just have to dig for this story, for this narrative that Brock Purdy's not a good quarterback just to get your fucking clicks? Jesus Christ. It's tasteless and uneducated as fuck. Not only did the dude quite literally lead almost every single statistical category for quarterbacks all season, he just led a game-winning drive in the fourth quarter, the only quarterback to do that this playoffs, and he's now in the NFC Championship game. It's one thing if he did that in the wild card round and they lost. Oh, well, this dude's still playing and we're treating him like he lost, like he's done. It's like everyone's jealous that they didn't just get drafted with the last pick of the draft. It's just, it's infuriating. It's infuriating. But Jordan Love's future is just so much brighter than Brock Purdy's, isn't it? Isn't Jordan Love's future, who is not playing right now, his future is just so much brighter than Brock Purdy's. It has to be. Is Jordan Love that good? Or are the Packers that good? Follow-up question. Is Coach Matt LaFleur that good of a coach? I think so. A disciple of Shanahan, a very, very good coach with a very young, talented group of receivers, running backs, defense. I think the Packers are that good. Follow-up to the follow-up question. Is Aaron Rodgers a smart dude for leaving the Packers? Colin Cowherd may have said it the best, that he has probably one of the lowest football IQs in the league. I'm just going to say it. He's probably the dumbest quarterback in the NFL. 32 QBs in a room. Who's dumber? If you have all 32 starters, and this doesn't count. I mean, I guess the pastronaut himself, the rocket scientist, Dobbs. Josh Dobbs is probably pretty smart, but I was saying like the starters. You got the Kirk Cousins, the Tannehills, the Jimmy G's. I don't think Jimmy G is that dumb. Yeah, probably not as good of a quarterback as Aaron Rodgers, but the guy found his way in Las Vegas with a bag. I mean, if you're not going to play anywhere and your career is sort of winding down, oh, he's in Vegas, poor him. Guys, he knew what he was doing. Guy did just fine. As for Aaron Rodgers, Colin Cowherd already said it best. I don't want to regurgitate Cowherd's words. As far as going to the Jets and leaving the Packers, stupidest fucking thing Rodgers probably could have done. Like, as a football move, to go to a team with a worse O-line, with a defensive-minded coach, guys that were aging, bringing mediocre players with him, but they were his buddies, taking a ginormous salary and then kind of taking a cut to sign other players. They didn't sign anybody. That's what Cowherd said. I'm here to say Rodgers may just be the dumbest quarterback in the league. You can say whatever you want about his politics, his beef with Jimmy Kimmel, who's a pedophile, who's not a pedophile. I just tell you right now, I'm not listening to Aaron Rodgers for medical advice. I'm definitely not leaving my kid with Aaron Rodgers unsupervised. No thanks. But you know who I would leave my kid with? Brock Purdy, without a shadow of a doubt, because he'll be safe and sound. So, back to Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy's still playing football. Jordan Love is not playing football. And people are like, oh, but the Niners barely won. They look so bad. They were supposed to steamroll the Packers. Like, are you fucking mad? Have you lost your mind? Are you that uneducated that you don't understand how playoff football works? There are no more power rankings anymore. We're not playing to impress. Survival is victory. Oh, but the Niners barely won. They barely got, they almost lost. Yeah, and you're like 99.99% related to a chimpanzee. But that 0.01% is the reason why you're not shitting in your hand and throwing it. Unless, of course, you're Desmond Ridder. Then you are shitting in your hand and throwing the football. That's what he did for the Falcons. No, but seriously, we. The Niners only barely won. Actually, no, we. It's always we. Whenever you address your team, it's we. Because you live and die with them and you pay their salaries by getting gear. It's we. Okay? We barely won. Sure. Okay? Does it matter if the Packers... Yeah. Does it matter if we blow the Packers' doors off and then lose to Detroit? No, it doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't matter how you win, just win. Like, you beat the Packers barely. Okay, fine. Yeah. Then go beat Detroit. You can do it barely. You could barely win the Super Bowl. The whole season is a squeak. I'm so sick of this. They're just squeaking by right now. Brock Purdy's just squeaking by. That talented team is just squeaking by. The whole season is a squeak. Winning the Super Bowl is squeaking by 31 other teams. You're not supposed to just blow everybody out. That doesn't happen in the NFL. Any given Sunday for a fucking reason. God almighty. I mean, the entire universe is shitting on Brock Purdy. All of these tramps on national television are digging with a spoon just as much shit as they possibly can to toss it on Brock Purdy's situation right now. It's it's hilarious, honestly, because was he really that bad? Was he so bad? Was he really awful? 23 for 39, 252 yards, 1 touchdown, no picks. He almost had a pick. Oh, there it is. Oh, that's right. So they almost lost to the Packers, and he almost had a pick 6. That's right. But, gosh darn it, almost just doesn't quite cut it in this league. No, it doesn't. Jordan Love, who everyone is just praising, God's gift. Bow to Jordan Love. He lost, so they didn't almost lose. They lost. He also went 21 of 34, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. Not almost 2 picks, 2 picks. Fact, 2 picks. It happened. It doesn't matter what should have happened or what could have happened. What matters is what happened. Niners won, Packers lost. And Brock Purdy won on the final drive. All these guys on television, they're like, well, the hypothetical, we have 3 elite quarterbacks and Brock Purdy. He should have lost. Guys, it's done. He won. Next game, they're playing the Lions right now. And, oh my God, the counter argument to Brock Purdy's game-winning drive, which, by the way, some quarterbacks will live and die without ever having a game-winning drive in their entire NFL career. But their counter to why Brock Purdy's game-winning drive to win the playoff game is insignificant because he had 3 really ugly and shitty quarters. Oh, but Jordan Love just killed 3 quarters, didn't he? Jordan Love's 3 quarters look so good that he's a better quarterback than Brock Purdy. It doesn't matter what happens in 3 quarters. Ask Matt Ryan what it's like to have 3 great quarters. Guy crushed it until Brady went nuclear in the 4th. Now Brady's the greatest of all time. It doesn't matter what happens in 3 quarters. What matters is how you win the game. What matters is what you do in the 4th quarter and then go win the fucking game. I mean, Jesus Christ. Ask Boomer Esiason how his 3 quarters went in the Super Bowl against the Niners. Ask him what was it like having 3 really good quarters and then watching Joe Montana go nuclear in the 4th quarter on 1 drive. Nobody cares about Boomer Esiason having 3 great quarters. Everybody cares about Joe Montana having that amazing drive and saying, hey, is that John Candy? And becoming Joe Cool because of that. Boomer Esiason, 3 quarters. Big fucking deal. It doesn't matter. Guys. Brock Purdy won the 4th quarter. And then he won the fucking game. Stop. And he's still playing. People are throwing shit at him like he's watching the game. He is still playing. Josh Allen is watching. By the way, his stats, because I guess it wasn't Josh Allen's fault. It was the kicker's fault. I think it was Josh Allen's fault they lost. Josh Allen's stats were something. 26 of 39 with 186 and a touchdown. He didn't really do much. Okay. So this is the guy that everyone is just saying Purdy could never sniff. Maybe athletically and maybe size-wise, but I'll say it. I'd rather have Brock Purdy than Josh Allen. I would. Okay, and as far as who I think will win, come on. Niners are going to beat the Lions. Yeah. It's not just the shirt. It's just, you have to actually see Dan Campbell coach a game now. He can't just out-scream and out-belittle. He can't just scream and out-testicle another coach, right? When he just puts his ball sack in a wheelbarrow because it's so heavy to carry just using his legs. You can't do that with Shanahan because you are going against a scheme king. This guy is a chess player. And that's why LaFleur gave Shanahan trouble, because they're disciples of the same coaching tree. Shanahan's tree. So, this is a Shanahan versus Campbell game in Shanahan's home. Shanahan, with or without Debo, Niners are going to win this fucking game. Let's not get cute with spread, because I think their spread's a little high, personally. But I could also see them just killing Detroit. Like, magic's out. The bottle, no more genie. He sucked back in. No more magic. But I think America wants the Lions to win. In fact, it sounds like America's Super Bowl, the dream Super Bowl of America, is Lions versus Ravens. At least they want nothing to do with Brock Purdy. Everyone wins when Brock Purdy loses, which is beyond me. I don't know why every American isn't rallying behind Brock Purdy as their hero. That anybody can get drafted last and then go win the Super Bowl. I don't know why that isn't the story, but I guess his failure is everyone's success. Cool. It's odd. But the dream Super Bowl of NFL fans is Ravens-Lions. It's obvious that nobody wants the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, not just because this would be the fourth. I guess that people are just sick of the Chiefs. Right, it'd be like the fourth Super Bowl in 5 years. That's their fourth appearance. They want new blood. However, as much as we want, the Ravens to beat the Chiefs, and as memeable and as foreseeable as the Ravens being in the Super Bowl is because of all the script leaks and stuff, I actually do think the NFL has other plans for who's going to that game. The script has been saying all along, depending on what you see, whether it's the newscast leak or the Super Bowl logo and the concording colors of Niners versus Ravens and that whole theory, I actually think the real script calls for Kansas City. And that script has been in the works for quite some time. It was just right under our nose. And I hate to say it, but the Chiefs are probably going to win against the Ravens, because the NFL may have pulled some serious strings. Apparently, there's this ref by the name Sean Smith, and this ref gives serious edges to road teams. That's just a fact. Like, picture a Scott Foster for the NFL, but instead of screwing over any team that is involved with Chris Paul, this ref just goes after the home team for sport, I guess. I don't know. Apparently, road teams win at the highest rate with Sean Smith officiating. And he has just been added in this official rotation for the Chiefs-Ravens game. Huh. I'll say that again. The number one beneficiary. No, that's fucked. No, it's the... Yeah. Every time a road team has this ref officiating, they have the highest chances of winning. And the NFL just slipped him into the game this weekend. Fuck. I mean, is this what the league has come down to? That it's just an endless maze of strings to be pulled to get their golden goose into the Super Bowl? Is that what is it just Mad Libs of how creative can we get to have the Chiefs? Is it because Taylor Swift brings her fandom, or is it because they don't want Lamar to win? Well, I don't understand why it has to be the Chiefs and why there's so much effort to getting the Chiefs in. It's jarring sometimes watching these games and watching that. At just as scheduled, flag come in late. It's usually on a third down in the fourth quarter. You saw it last game. And honestly, it was probably the right call. I'm just saying that happens too often. Third down, it's usually 3rd and 10, 3rd and 11. Mahomes goes incomplete, or he has to throw it out of bounds, or he gets sacked. And as far as everyone can tell, it's going to be a punt. But hold on a second. There's a late flag that comes sputtering in, hits the ground, and what do you know? It's some sweet, crazy ambitious defensive penalty, illegal contact, illegal touching that they needed to have to give Mahomes a fresh set of downs to go down and ultimately win the game. Right? That's what we've seen the past couple of years. Just a very timely penalty that comes in, changes the game completely. I'm sick of that shit. Right? And by the way, I don't think there's an actual script for the NFL. I don't think it's that simple that there's a prediction in the form of a screenplay. I don't believe in the script, but I do believe in it, if that makes sense. Like, it's kind of like how I believe in mermaids, where it's like, as far as I'm concerned, as far as science is concerned, they're not real. But if one were to wash up on a beach, we'd all be like, well, yeah, no shit, mermaids exist. It's obvious. Ocean's only 7% discovered. 93% is just, I don't know. Right, so with the NFL, it's like you want to sit here and believe, oh, there's no way these games are fixed. There's no way there's no influence from admin. There's no way strings were pulled to get teams. But then, like, if something is revealed in some capacity, if there is some sort of influence, it's like, well, no shit. So I believe something like that exists in capacity, but nothing any of us can prove until it's, of course, proven, and then it's, well, obvious. So seeing Jason Kelce at the game leads me to believe that people are going to be watching the Chiefs for more reasons than the Chiefs. Taylor Swift was already a reason for millions of more fans to tune in every Sunday. Now you got Jason Kelce probably making another appearance, just inhaling beers. And by the way, that is so much more refreshing than Taylor Swift. It's not that I hate Taylor Swift, and I really like her. In fact, I don't think anybody hates Taylor Swift. I don't think anybody is like wishing for her to be harmed or wishing for her downfall. It's not like that. It's really just about what she brings with her, the collateral, the storylines, the less and insignificant focus on football and more about her and the dancing and sort of the, and I get that you're opening up a new audience. I understand that. But for me, it's kind of like seeing an influencer in the wild. Like, you don't wish they were dead. You're just like, oh God, what? Fuck. Like, you just do it somewhere else. It's just cringy, That's my take on that. I don't hate Taylor Swift. I think we're all sick of the coverage. The coverage is a little much, right? And it's kind of like a cover one. It's a little tight, and it's in your face. I would prefer like a cover 3 coverage on Taylor Swift. A little relaxed. Well, prevent. We'll bring it in. We'll bring her in when we need her, but it's not every fucking down. Okay. That's it for me, folks. I really just want to hammer some points in about Brock Purdy, and I'll say it again just to hammer it home. The slander's got to stop, and the tramps on television that are just digging, thoughtlessly for clicks. It's disgusting. Yeah, it's jarring and it's distasteful. So I'll say it again. Boomer Esiason was great for 3 quarters against Joe Montana in the Super Bowl, but nobody fucking cares because Joe Montana had one great drive where he said, hey, is that John Candy? And that's why we call him Joe Cool. And that's why he won the 4th quarter and then won the game and now is one of the best quarterbacks of all time. And that's exactly what Brock Purdy did. Nobody cares that Jordan Love won 3 quarters out of 4. Brock Purdy won the 4th quarter. And now Josh Allen is watching Brock Purdy play football. So, there you have it. Thank you for listening, everybody. I hope this was entertaining and somewhat informative and not just me ranting. But yeah, you can catch this on No Filter. I don't think this is going on podcast platforms. I think this is just going on YouTube and Caffeine. Have a great week, everybody. Have a fantastic championship weekend. Seriously. If you like this, enjoy this, hit me up, DM me, see what you guys say. Otherwise, that's it. Ciao.